Welcome to another video from Lame Creations, Log Analysis Made Easy, where we are going to talk about glass tables and Splunk IT Service Intelligence. We're going to talk about how to build them and use them and stuff like that. I just want to thank the members of this channel who this presentation got moved up because I've received multiple requests from that group to present on it. And just so you're aware, I I love my members. They make this channel possible. And so when they give requests out there, they get priorities. If you want to be a member, go ahead and click the become a member down below. There's lots of perks there. Additional training videos, hours of videos there, dashboard videos, searching videos, system administration videos, and additionally you get first come first serve when it comes to requesting videos that I create, and that's why we're doing glass tables and pushing everything else back. Anyway, what is a glass table? Sorry, I'm gonna have to go a little bit into history here. Glass tables have been around for many, many years inside Splunk. It was one of the first non uh, XML-based dashboarding systems that ITSI put out. Let's not get too much into the semantics here, but the concept was they came out with these glass tables, which gave you a lot more flexibility to build, put in images and stuff like that. And then they rolled out beta, and then beta rolled away, and ultimately, what we see today in Dashboard Studio, something that's come out with Splunk really heavily in Splunk 9, a little bit in Splunk 8, was built on the premises of glass tables. And I'm going to go into the version of ITSI I have. If you're looking at this, is slightly different than all the other ITSI videos. I have upgraded the latest version, and the glass tables have changed a little bit. And also, I don't have all the services I had in my other videos, but I've got enough to make the concept. So bear with me if you've been following along in the video playlist. Things are a little bit different here. But if I come over to let's come over here to ITSI. I'm in ITSI and I go to settings, help, about. I can see that I am currently running Splunk 4.18. That has a different than, I don't know when it flipped from Glass Tables beta to Glass Tables Dashboard Studio, but it is pretty much now they're almost the same. There might be some minor there's a little bits of difference, but basically, if you can do Dashboard Studio, you can do Glass Tables. If you can do Glass Tables now, you can do Dashboard Studio. So I'm going to put down below a link to some of my videos I've done on Dashboard Studio. It is definitely an area I want to focus on more, but for now, just know that anything that I say for Dashboard Studio and I say for Glass Tables pretty much works vice versa. There's a little bit different the data sources, and I'll discuss that as I go through. But the concept is make sure you have a service running. It's not required. You don't need services for glass tables, but you won't get all the features that I'm going to demo if you don't have the services. And it makes sense because probably you want glass tables based on some of your services. So anyway, I got my service. Might look a little familiar if you've been following along. Basic concept is I have a script that just writes machine actions. I'm just writing here. What a horrible name. I meant to put that somewhere else, but I ended up calling it collect because it was done way too early in the morning. So I have an index called collect, and it's got machine actions. And if I want to see that data, collect source equals machine actions. If I look at this data, the data is comprised of a machine name, account, and a value. What are those values? They're randomly created. It doesn't really matter. I'm just creating a heartbeat type thing of a service. It was just to imitate a service. I've got a service now. And so if I go to my service definition, I have that, and I can see thresholding. I've created some thresholds. If I refresh this page, it should be a little more accurate. Um, yeah, so I've got my system set up. Yep, so there's my services. And if I go to service threshold per entity thresholds, I can actually see them by the entity. And you can see machine A, machine C, machine D, machine B. Anyway, so I've got a service running. So how do we do the glass table? I put a glass table here just to put a demonstration of it. I'm going to If I hit view, this is what the glass table will kind of look like. You might have some drill down capabilities, get yourself some backgrounds, things like that. And you basically put up a nice visual for a network operations center, whatever you're monitoring your service, and you put up all the key indicators across. You'll see some really, if you Google this, you'll see some really cool things people have done. One of the big tricks is it's all about getting a nice graphic that plays out into your visuals. If you just use the visuals, you're going to get things like this. And that's okay, but it doesn't pop like you'll see online. And when I get done, I'll show you some that people have done online, or you can actually get the demos. I think there's demos here. At least there were in other versions. So let's go to glass tables. Yeah, let's make sure I've saved. Yep, it's saved. And then I'm going to go to glass tables. Leave. Yeah, actually, they don't. You have to download a bundle to get those demos, so I'm not going to have that right now. But I'm going to go create a new glass table, and I'm going to do this as lame YouTube example. YouTube example. I choose whether I want it to be private or shared. Definitely, if you want it to be used by others, you better make it shared in the app. I'll hit create, and as simple as that, you're ready to create it. You're ready to create one. But I haven't done anything with it yet, so let's go in, and now we'll edit. And when I come in, I get briefed with a empty screen. And so I can choose to change some of these default fields. I can global time range, global refresh rate. That's kind of nice because it'll keep your dashboard refreshing. How often do you want it to refresh? How long back do you want the data to run from? So it's your global time range, which means in all your queries you can use it. And so we're going to go hit edit. One of the things to see is I can change the screen. So say I want it to fit to the screen. I can go auto. You're not going to see much difference because there really isn't any data. The big thing is this little white space changes. So I'm just going to go auto. And then the key is if you want to blow away all this stuff, so you're wanting to display the data, you'll hit those double arrows. Again, not very pretty. What we need is to fill in here. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit edit, and that's where you get all of your capabilities. Right now, I get all the settings for my time range because that's selected. If I move over to global refresh, I get all of its settings, and I can mess with that, change it around. I can actually see the source code. It is all JSON based now. I mentioned that before. Dashboard Classic is XML. They kind of moved away from the XML, kind of making it JSON, and that was their first attempts with dashboards. Were the glass panels was JSON, and it's come a long way. And now Dashboard Studio is rolled out, and they use the same code base pretty much between the two. I can turn grid lines on and off. That kind of helps make it easy to see how, when I want to place things. I've got, actually not sure what that is. Okay, enable service swapping. We're not going to play with that now at this scope. Okay, now we're going to come up here. Here's your save button. That's slightly different. In Dashboard Studio, you'll have a save over here. I think that's where it's at. Boy, I have to try to remember everything where it's visually located. But your save's over here. This does an undo. This has a redo. That is pretty much the only difference in the last Dashboard Studio I've used in this one. You have these exact same things here. Here I can put any sort of chart in there. So if I want a sand key link graph, these are not the same thing as when you go to Splunk base and you just download visualizations. These are specialized visualizations for Dashboard Studio. Um, but there are ways to add to them. But for now, we're just going to stick with what comes out of the box. These are your options. Maybe I want a single radial. I click that, boom, there it is. Not very impressive in of itself because I need to go configure it. I hope you're catching on here that everything I click becomes, um, I get the settings. I want to change, for example, this lame YouTube example. I can actually change its name right here, show title and description. Now it goes away. Let's see. I can add a submit button to my page. And if I do that, do I want to submit on the initial dashboard load? I'm going to turn the submit button off. I can change my background. So let's just, for now, I'm not going to put a background. I'm just going to put nice little blue. Boom. Now I got a blue. Then if I click this, I can change things here. Like I can go color and style, change its background. So if I want to change this, maybe I want it to be orange. That way it can help blend it in there. It'll look better. Maybe I want to change the radial color, so I can change that there. The trend values, the major values, all of those are fields down here in the JSON, which you can then, if it so suits you, you can go and change it manually. So I made that background color. You'll notice there it is, background color. If I write this as FF0000, of course I'm getting errors and now it's red. So you can choose to change the JSON, or you can choose to name uh, however you want. Just get used to the fact that if you really know your JSON, you can do a lot of things. Most things they're trying to handle with a GUI, but the most power comes from actually going behind the scenes and manipulating the JSON. There are things you can't do right now in Splunk without using the JSON. But for this demo, don't worry about it. Most of the things you'll want, you can do with JSON. All right, so I could add image, I could add another, maybe I want a column chart. And again, well, there's a problem. There's no data there. I'm starting to be able to show something, like I can hit save. Maybe I want to change the movement here. I'm going to move this. If I hit undo, it moves it back. I can redo, move it forward. And if I hit view, it looks cool, I guess, but it doesn't really do much for me. So we now need to put some actions into this. So we go back to edit. Let's go make the radial bar. We'll stick with that. We need to give it a title. All right, so I'm going to call it my radial button, radial graph. What a horrible name, but I just want to show I can put anything. What if I want to put a description there? Some description. What a horrible name. But again, I can change its position. I can drag it around, and you'll notice it changes the X and Y, or I can just change it right here. I can micro change it, so ever so little bit, however you want to do it. I can change the width. We're going to come into data sources in a minute, so let's go there. We want to set up a primary data source. We need some data coming into it. Right now, it's just a graph, so we want to set up a primary data source. If you have services, by default, your services will show up here. And you can filter down. Doesn't do me a lot of good to filter. I have one service, so if I go, I'm guessing if I go like A, I'm going to lose it. But if I hit M, wow, it's okay. Okay, is it case sensitive? No, it's not case sensitive. Okay. But anyway, so once you run it, then it comes back with a filter, and there's my KPIs. I had a little service. If I go to my service definition, we'll notice it's actions taken. So if I just want to put that actions taken in there, it's as simple as clicking the button. And boom, now I have the results. If that KPI puts out output that makes sense in a radial button, you don't have anything else left to do. I could do the exact same thing over here. I'm now going to set up a primary data source, and I'm going to grab actions taken. And we now see a different chart. So here's a bar chart of it. Here's a graph of it. Again, I don't know why you would put both of those up there, but I'm just giving examples here. All right, we can also do set up annotation data source. If I'm not mistaken, this is basically the concept of a base search in Splunk, where you create a main search and then off of it you use other stuff. So I might come in here. Yes, I'm going to grab the actions taken. Oops, sorry, that wasn't what I meant to do. Um, undo that, undo. Okay, actions taken. I actually don't know what this annotation data source did. That's weird. Okay, I'm guessing I don't actually know. I'll have to look into that. That's a little weird. All right, we're gonna go undo, 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 undo. Come on. All right, when I'm done with this, I'm gonna close the data source. I'm gonna click this again, and I'm just gonna say, I don't want you. And so the primary data source, I'll move back to actions taken. I don't know why I lost my values. Okay, then data. All right, so there we go. We can change some of our colors, our background to it. We can change the way the data displays. We can go to stacked, not stacked. Data value display all, overlay fields. So I can mess around with any of these settings here. And I'm just gonna erase this. Go away. Not sure why I lost it. Go in here, we're gonna do a line chart. That makes a lot more sense than a bar chart. And we're going to tell it its data source is machine actions taken. And there we go. Got data. We can choose again. You come down here, you can change its position and size. You can change the way that it's going to load eventually. Um, how you can mess with those fields. You can choose what to do with nulls, how to, so any of your things you want to do, there's your ways to manipulate the file. All right, what if I don't have a service, or do I have to do everything off services? Nope. I'm gonna put another one in here. We're just gonna do a single value. Yeah, we'll just do a single value. And we're gonna come in here, we're gonna set up a primary source, and I'm gonna come down here, create an ad hoc search. And so this will be index equals collect, source, that will do machine host, that's the name, right? Machine host, host machine. Probably should write my query over here. Host machine equals, maybe you want to focus on just one machine, and I want to do stats average value. And maybe we'll bin this. I mean, we could do some bins. We'll just do max. Yeah, I don't know what we want. So I guess we'll have to do this. Bin size span equals 5 minutes. Time. We'll do average value by time. If we do something like that, then we can throw this in. It should work in a single digit. Let's see. We'll come in here, we'll throw that in there. It builds the query. You can see that right there in the HTML, how it's being done. And apply and close. And so we can now see, here's the trend line. It's at 4, it went up by 2. We can go play with the position and size. We can go change the data configuration. We can change the data display. So for example, if I want a trend, I want my trend value to be blue. That'll change that color there. I can then set, there should be some stuff here to change. Yeah, so what do I want to do? So let's go something like that. This will now change the color. Red means bad, green means good, and this is all based off my thresholds that I set. Because it's below the threshold, it's going down. Anyway, so you can play around with that. Oh, actually, it's based off these trend values. So I can change, do I want trend values like this? Do I want, I take that back. These would have been based off the KPIs. These here would be based off me changing the range and flipping like here. So if I want this and I want to say anything less than 0, so that's the trend line, major value. What we're going to do is anything, let's go 4 and greater is green. Just doing that. Let's go 4 to 20 is green, and make that yellow, sure. And if I were to drop this to 5, notice it'll flip to red. So I can change my stance right there, and then I change here what the trend value, red or green, based off going up and down. So you've got a lot of options to change there. All right, so we've got into here, we've given it a title, uh, another chart, is what we'll call this, wonderful name. And we can do, shrink the data actions, data configurations, data display. There's interactions. This is what makes I like the interactions because I don't want to have to fit everything I might possibly want on a chart. So I could take this and I can say, hey, I'm going to add an interaction. And that when someone clicks the chart, they can be taken to another glass table, a deep dive, a dashboard, a saved episode review, a service analyzer, a link to some custom URL, or you can go set some tokens. We're going to do a glass table, and we're going to pick the glass table. I've got my machine communications, and I'll open it up in a new tab. I hit apply, and now I hit save here. I'm going to hit view, and now I've got, if I click this, you'll notice it only works on the number, but I click that, and I'm taken to a drill down, to another glass table. And now I can see my other one. So we can link to any place we want. That makes things really nice. Again, I've gone through, I've laid out these things. So let's go through some others. We can lay down any chart we want. We can do pie charts. Over here gives us the ability to do filtering. So maybe I want to pick, I want to pick right here. I told it that this was machine A. If you remember, I went to my data sources and I wrote in search one. I said, where machine is machine D, sorry. I could come in here and I could do a drop down and I could put mine in there. And you'll notice we can put like sheet A, and its value would be machine A. I do that. I don't like the token name being that, so we'll do some machine. Okay, let's give us machine A and machine D. Okay, I want my default, choose my default to be machine A. I'm going to choose machine A, and now always be paying attention. If it fills out, you'll want to click this. If you just write it out, it may give you an error. So just be aware of that. So if I hit save, all right, save, close this. Now we're going to hit view, and I can come in here and I'm going to go say, I want to see machine A's data. Looks like here is where I'm going to need that submit button. So we're going to come back here. I'm going to go add submit button, and I'll hit save. Okay, so I'm going to change this to machine D, hit submit. Oh, well, it's not going to change if I don't bother to change my query. So I'm going to change this to be, what was the token here? Some machine, grab that, flip this, dollar sign. You put your dollar signs around your token, apply and close, hit save, okay, view. Now I flip it to machine A, hit submit. Now I got machine A stuff. If I go to machine D, I hit submit. And if I hit all, I'm gonna get a weird one because it's gonna combine them all together. And there we go. It's not gonna be that weird. It just recognize it's there. And so what if I want to change this? I wrote another chart. So I can come in here, edit, another chart for dollar sign, and now hit save. And if I do this, notice it says star. I'm gonna flip that to machine A, hit submit. Now I know machine A. I don't think I needed the submit button, just so you're aware. I think it's because I was retarded and forgot to put the token in there. Machine D, and now I go to all, and it's all there. So let's go take that off. If I hit take this off, close this, hit save, view. You don't have to hit save all the time. Boy, with beta, with Dashboard Studio, you had to hit all the time. Otherwise, it would forget to save the stuff. Kind of annoying. So I'm got the bad habit when I'm in when I'm in glass panels that I'm saving all the time because I've done work and just lost it all. And this is a much, much better system. So if you have the old glass panels, get rid of them by upgrading to the later version of ITSI. That's my recommendation. Anyway, so there we go. We've got that. So let's go put a background in. We're going to go put drop down. So I'm going to come back here to this config. I can go drag a file. And so if I go to helping you move, and so then you would use, so you can place your pictures around where they make sense. We want to go like that. This is a horrible background. It doesn't make any sense why it's there, but I'm doing it anyway because I can. And I'm going to hit view. Let's make that max screen. And now you got yourself a nice little updating glass panel that will move those things for you. And all right, let's go over, I forgot to go over everything else before I quit. All right, we can put here, they've got all sorts of tokens for you. So maybe you want to draw a cloud, put this here, and now you can see it's a blue cloud. We're going to change the color to white. White would show up really well, right? Okay, that's not it. That's not changing anything. Color and style. All right, so we got that major value. It's interesting, the icon. What if we go with green? All right, so that changes it. I'm not sure what your major and other values are in there. Probably going to have some form of a data source, set up a primary data source, put that in there. I've never done this, so this will be interesting. What happens when I put a picture in there? Not 100% sure. Probably need to fix this. Anyway, you can play around with it. I'm not going to spend too much time. I would blow that away. I bet it would be even easier if it was based off this search here. Okay. Anyway, so you can drop images in there. You got images, examples, desktops. There's a lot of kind of cool things here if you want to try to draw your own graphic there, outline some systems like users and tools. And these are things that you'd see commonly in services. Then you come over here and this gives you the ability to draw circles, rectangles. This is more of a free drawing tool. You can, so if you ever played around with that kind of stuff. Oh, I didn't mention, so you want to layer it. You can move backwards, send to back. That's all done. So this would go here. What if I want this image on top? And I would layer, bring to front, and now this would go on top. So you can play around with that route. I can copy. This one here just makes a direct clone of it. So if I hit this, now I have another one to move around. And then the right, delete it. And I'm going to delete that too. All right, so you got some images. Here you can just flat out insert a picture. And so if you come in here, you go image content, drop your picture in. We'll put the other lame screen maybe right on the bottom of this graphic, which don't understand why I would do that, but there you go. So I can add pictures. Gives you a lot of freedom there. Here is markup. It's basically going to give you a text box, and then you just put your markup content, markdown content. So I'm going to say, hello world. Okay, that's not big enough. So if I'm not mistaken, and is it something like that? I can't remember. Yep. Oh, that wasn't it. Anyway, it accepts standard markup. So if I want to make this put this in bold, there we go. I just did it. It was the spaces that got in the way. All right. Anyway, um, you can play around with the GUI here, drop some pictures into it, do whatever you want. You can change the font size, etc. It's all just done through markup. That is the biggest thing is if you want to put text in, you're going to be doing with markup. You can put text in manually in the JSON. They're kind of going away from that. They want you to use the markup. So I'm not gonna show you how to do that because it's not something they want to support long term. Here, I can go click and get my settings. Here is all my data sources. So if I want to mess with data sources, add new data sources, searches like that. And then here is the JSON editor. So if you want to change anything, it's got the collapsing, and you can make your changes and then close, apply and close. There you go. So that's pretty much all of the features there for a glass panel. I did not, I'm not here to show you how to do all the greatest things in the world with glass panel. I just want to show you what's there, how to make it work. It's pretty straightforward. There's some really cool things you can do with pivoting and tokens and stuff like that, but I don't want to focus that on glass panels so much as I want to focus that on Dashboard Studio. So it looks like with this being all glass panels, the priority to get Dashboard Studio tutorials up may just be moving up my list. Anyway, and I hope you saw this. It just changed because this page refreshes every minute. So this will just give you a nice constant looking at your environment. I am going to bring up a search here. And if I do Splunk ITSI glass tables, we can see some really cool stuff that people have done with glass tables. These are all glass tables, and I can break down the elements if you want me to. See what they've done here. This is just a numerical answer. Here's your radial button. They made the background transparent. This here was the same thing I did with my others. My numerical visualization, they just put a percentage change there and did not put the trend line underneath. Here is a timeline. Um, these are services that they put in, just another visualization you can put in. This is a map with these visualizations thrown in. So basically they dropped an image of a map in and then they put these visualizations around it to make it look like it was part of the map. Here's just a bar chart, a line chart. Here, this disk is actually not part of visualization. These arrows are just drawn in, just like I drew the cloud. You can draw the arrow. This is a graphic. This is a circle. And so basically all they've done is just created transparent images and put them in there. So I mean, I read that. They just put different images and they just manipulate it so it looks really cool. Here is this should be very easy for you to do. Icon, markdown, icon, markdown, and these are literally numerical visualizations. And then these are your trend lines. That's it. Radial buttons. And so this is the most common thing you're going to see here. So let's go show that one. um, Service definition glass table. I come back here and I want to add, I can remember which visualization it's going to be. I think it's single value. I just have to change the way the single value displays. It's been a while. So here you turn the spark line on or off, timelines, unit precision. Could have sworn that's what it was. What is it? So here's like an events table, like from Splunk. I don't want that. I know it's here. I know it's this one. I may end up having to look it up. Oh, there we go. Sparkline display. No, I just was at that. Maybe it is the horseshoe. And then you change data display. I know there's one that changes it out to put the date on the side. Anyway, just play around with it. If I find it, I'll put it as an update to this. I know where I swear I knew what it was, but probably thinking what it was in beta. Anyway, but the concept is you'll find that chart. It's commonly used. Um, but that's all they've done. So this is an example of a very boring, plain. This is actually how I like to do mine, but the when you're trying to show off to management, there are much cleaner, prettier. This one looks really, really cool. But you know what it is? It's a graph that they placed in there with just some text, 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 text. They just edited these little spots, and everything else was was the graphic behind the scenes, and you just position your stuff where you want that's going to change. And so that's the real secret. That's the pulling the curtain back. You want these things to look good. You might need a graphic designer, but it's really to design the JPEG that you're going to upload. Then you're just going to drop your displays in the right spots. Anyway, I hope this helps. I hope this helps you move from being a lame analyst to a Splunk ninja, that you keep coming back. If this video was helpful, please like and subscribe to the channel. If you want to become a member and get access to a whole bunch more content that is only available to members, join and become a member. It really does help this channel to grow, and I appreciate all of my members that continue to help support me, and I look forward to helping grow this channel. Anyway, have a good day.